Hi, Jatan. So I guess I'm live. I'm going to give it a minute, and then there will be no live stream tonight. This is it, and I'll explain why in a minute. Um, Hi, Tanya. Well, as I said, there will be no live stream tonight because Julie was just here. She was doing laundry, and her dryer caught fire. Now, there's no damage to the house. The dryer's gone. But I'm going to go spend some time with my grandchildren. All 7 of my grandchildren and both of my children were in that house. Not to mention my son-in-law, whom I love as much as I love my own children. And I am just so grateful that nothing more than a dryer burnt up happened. And it's kind of funny because I told you all that we were going to start doing new things, and we were. We were have a series of topics that we want to discuss, and they range from what are you preparing for, what are you getting ready for, and that's why I titled this When Life Happens, because I'm in the kitchen canning right now, and as soon as the second batch, I have one batch that'll be done in 10 minutes and another one that'll be done in about 80 minutes, and then I'm gone, because I am going to go spend time and hug and love on my grandchildren and children. What could have been far worse. Steve and I are both grateful to God that it was contained to the dryer, that the older children reacted well by grabbing the younger children and running out of the house. My daughter had the fire extinguisher, and my son and son-in-law carried the burning dryer out of the house. And so as far as we know at this point, there is no damage in the house. It's all contained to the dryer. This is why you prepare different scenarios. This is why everybody in your house has got to work like a well-oiled machine. No matter what you think everybody knows, you have to drill it and drill it and drill it until you know everybody knows. And it's not, wait, let me stop and think, but okay, everything went into action and everybody's all right. And I'm sorry if my computer is moving a little bit. It's not really perched on a flat, solid surface right now. So when life happens, because it does and it will, I don't care how old you are, I don't care what you've been through or what you haven't been through, life will happen. Sitting here canning, I'm canning for my family, canning for the winter, thinking, I would rather be doing other things, but this is important to me. And Julie comes over and tells me that they had a fire in the house. And again, everybody's fine. The only thing that's damaged is the dryer, because no one of them panicked. They each did what they needed to do, and they did it as a unit. And 7 grandchildren were outside within a matter of seconds, and adults were behind them. So when myself or Jason and Robin from Big Bear Homestead or Patrick from Breakaway Homestead, or Brad from Full Spectrum Survival, when any of us talk to you about the things that we think are important and we really want to share with you, this is why. A simple little dryer fire could have turned into something much worse and much more tragic than the loss of a dryer. You know what? I don't care about a dryer. If clothes have to be hung outside, so be it. If clothes need to come to my house to come to a dryer, so be it. If I have to help her load everything up and take it to a laundromat, so be it. All 7 of my grandchildren, my 2 children, and my son-in-law are all safe because no one panicked. They knew exactly what to do, and they did it. I know some people may think we're Debbie Downers, or some people may think, oh, can you just talk about something else? Well, I am so grateful that my entire family understands how important it is to be ready for even the unexpected. That today, there wasn't a tragedy. There's an expense, but there's no tragedy. So, just to say it again, I will not be going on live tonight. Steve and I will not go on live at 7 o'clock. Because when the canners are done, I'm turning everything off and I'm going to spend some time with my family. Because there is nothing in this world that is more important than the care and love of my family. So, if anybody has anything that they'd like to talk about, any questions, I am more than happy to talk with you. But I'm going to harp on this a little bit because I absolutely think this is why we all have to be ready for whatever comes our way. Some prepare because they think they might lose a job. Some prepare because they think there's going to be a natural disaster. Some prepare because they think there's going to be an economic crisis. Some prepare because they think there's going to be a governmental crisis. But you can't forget everyday life. You have to know what to do. If you have to get out of your house, and that is the other thing, where my grandchildren were, they had multiple, if they could have been blocked off. If the fire had gotten out of hand, they could have and would have been blocked off. But they all had another route out of the house, a safe route that none of them would have been in danger. So when you practice or talk or plan and do drills, you have to drill. Put up a block. You can't come this way. There's flames. You can't open your door. You see smoke coming underneath the closed bedroom door. You have to make them think and work like a well-oiled machine that it's just second nature. It's done without thinking. So, this is my look because Steve is in the other room and I need to see what you all are saying. Yeah, so I thank you all for your concern and your well wishes. But this is what we're talking about. This is Let me see. Robin just said something in chat, and it's really it's another point I want to bring up. You know, Steve and I stopped doing live streams for a while. Life just happened. And then you wonder, are you really serving the purpose? Are you doing this for the purposes that you set out to do it, to help educate, to share knowledge, to build a community of friends? And we thought about it and we prayed about it and we decided, yes, we felt this is what we were being led to do. And you know, I honestly believe that this is the right thing to do, because the more and more we try, the more and more barriers are being thrown up in front of us. And no, I will not stop. So, Teresa, I absolutely understand and agree with you. I'm scared of fire and tornadoes too. See, when I was 12 years old on Christmas morning, my parents told me to go in and start the coffee. We had just opened all our presents, and I started the coffee, but we had a gas stove, and as anybody my age or older knows, back then gas stoves weren't as reliable and safe as they are now. So the gas came out, but the flame didn't come out right away, and there was a poof. Well, this is before they were teaching stop, drop, and roll. The front of my pajamas had fringes on them, and when it poofed, it caught my pajamas on fire. And something inside of me told me not to run, though I wanted to, as I just wanted to get out. I was on fire. But I stopped. I took 2 steps and turned and screamed for help. And my father looked up and saw that the front of my pajamas were on fire and ran to me and got the flames out. I was not burned. By the grace of God, I was not burned, because I could feel the heat and the flames coming up the front of my pajamas. So fire scares the bejeebers out of me. I have a very, very helpful, healthy respect for fire. And tornadoes, they just pop up and they scare the bejeebers out of me anyway. But I think things like this that happened throughout my childhood is what gave me the fortitude to learn as much as I can, to share as much as I can, to help as much as I can. And from that point on, I remember running different scenarios in my mind. What will I do if this happens? What will I do if this happens to me again? How will I handle this? And I brought my children up thinking the same way. And my husband, thank God, never once questioned. He thought it was fantastic that I would do things like that. I know sometimes I sound like a broken record. I know sometimes we both sound like a broken record, right? Steve just walked in the room. He's not watching what you all are saying right now. But no, it's okay, baby. You don't have to go back. But that is why you have to, yes, think about the lost job. Think about natural disasters. Think about economic collapse. Think about governmental collapse. Think about whatever it is that you are trying to be ready for. But don't forget the everyday life. Life happens.
Life is what happens while you were making other plans.
Exactly. That's one of our key phrases. Life is what happens when you are making other plans. So let me. Okay, I'm just trying to catch up. Hey, Dragon's Talon. So yes, Kitty is absolutely right. Repetition, repetition, repetition. You know, there's a reason why. If your children are in school, or if you went to a public school, why they do fire drills over and over. Or if you're in a tornado area, why they do tornado drills or earthquake drills. There is a reason why school systems do this with children, because children and adults will panic at times. And if it just becomes second nature to you, if you don't have to think about it, if scenario A happens, so this is what I do, or A has happened, but I can't do that, what's the next step? If it's all second nature to you, survival is absolutely attainable. As a matter of fact, it's what will save you if you know what scenario A happens. Okay, then comes B. But B can't happen. And maybe C can't happen. But I know what D is, and I can get to D. That's how and why we must all remember everyday life. So, if I missed any questions, please put them in caps and let me see them again, because you all know I'm blind as a bat. That's another thing. You all know that I need glasses, and I need 2 pairs of glasses to read. I'm never without 2 pairs of glasses. Not just on my face, but I have 2 pairs of glasses in everything that I carry in case something happens to the one pair. I am a firm believer in 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Backup to backups. Have to have backups. Hi, Anita. Patrick, build them a clothesline. They have a clothesline. And they just happen to have 2 of the solar power drying kits that was made available to them by their mother. So they do have clotheslines, and we will take care of drying clothes. The washer could have went too. We have other ways of washing clothes too, and we have used buckets and the thing they call a breather and a wringer, and have wrung out clothes. So please, if you ever think that any of us that you may listen to is getting preachy, or you think we're harping on a subject too much, it's because we really care. You all have become so close to us, and we don't ever want to hear that something happened because you didn't think it through, or we didn't think it through, or my children and grandchildren didn't think it through, my neighbors. I can get preachy at times. I know this. It's a blessing and a fault. It's a blessing because I won't let anything go for my family, but it's a fault because I won't let anything go. But it's why all of us get on here to to talk with you, to show you, to share knowledge with you. What can happen? Okay, I'm showing a red line. Can somebody type and tell me if I'm still on? Thank you. I've been told I'm still here, so some people are their purpose in life is to share. And I think that's what my purpose in life is to share. But I want to share things that I think will keep you safe, fed. And as you can tell, I'm a little stressed right now, but I thought it was important to get on here while we're canning and let you know what really could have been a tragedy wasn't. The older children knew the grub. The younger children, they got them out. They all gathered at the same place. Had where they had to pass by been blocked, they all had another exit that absolutely would have gotten them out of the house. But that's why I won't be on tonight. Because there was no tragedy. Because we were given a great blessing today. When the second canner, because the first canner already went off, and Steve took it off the heat. When the second canner is finished, I'm going to spend time with my children and my grandchildren. Because there's nothing in this world more important to me than them. Exactly, Tanya. They were in trouble and now I just need to be with them. So, unless anybody wants to bring up a scenario and discuss what to do, I don't know how many of you may live on a second floor apartment or, you have an upstairs. Do you have the rope ladders to get out of your house? If your bottom floor is on fire, do you have an exit out of your second floor? Because a lot of house fires happen at night when people are asleep. Do you have those rope ladders and have you practiced getting out of them? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I have a terrible fear of heights. I mean, I can climb anything. I got to go up 100 feet, I can go up 100 feet. I necessarily may not be able to get down that same 100 feet. So that's why I practice. I still have a fear, but if I have to come down that 100 feet, I'm going. My self-preservation is so strong, I am going to find a way to get down those 100 feet. Good, Tanya. Tanya says that, I just realized this was tilting away. I'm sorry, guys. Have a basement, and yes, if fire starts, even if she has to get out a window, she can get out a window. It's fantastic. Absolutely. When I was very young, I remember one of my first memories is that we had we were on a second floor apartment, second or third floor. I don't have that clear of a memory. I just know that we weren't on the first floor. And I remember out our bathroom window was a fire escape. And I remember my father showing me where the fire escape was and telling me, if anything happened, go down those steps. These are just discussions that you have to have with your children. And even if you're a couple of my age or older, and there's two of you in the house, have the same discussion, still do the same practices. Because let me tell you something, more people have died going back into fires looking for loved ones because they didn't know the other one was out. You still have to have a place to meet. You still have to have you still have to have everything that you have if you have children. A place to meet, a way to communicate.
Plans on how you're getting out.
Plans, not only plans on how you're getting out, but plans what happens if the house is gone, if it's a total. Do you have a tent in your car? You might not be able to sleep in your house anymore, but you have a tent in your car that you can prop up and gather everybody together and get them out of the elements. You just because our children are grown and move away doesn't mean that we still don't have to have plans if there are two or more people in the house. If you have somebody who is severely handicapped, either physically or mentally, do you have a way to get to them, and have you discussed with them how to get out? Because there can be a panic in a situation. Children and adults that are of the mental stage that they're the age of children have been known to hide because they're scared. Have you discussed with them? It's no, you don't hide. This is what you do. And practice and practice and practice. It's just so necessary. Plan now. Plan tonight. In the next 10 minutes, after I get off, plan. Discuss what happens. So, let's see. Yes, Teresa, there are supposed to be at least 2 ways out in case of a fire. However, in the area that I live in, it's not unusual for a house to be over 100 years old. Mine is not, but there are homes here that were built in the late 1700s, early 1800s. It's important. If you live in an area where homes are old and don't have modern building codes, you need to know how to get out even faster because your wood is old. I hate to put it that way, but older houses, like some of the ones in this area, built in the late 1700s, early 1800s, that wood is old. It's dry. You need to...
It will burn very well.
It will burn well and quickly. You need to know how to get... Go ahead, I'm holding this. You need to know how to get out of your house if there's not a second escape. Case in point, went to a fire call. There was a father and a 2-year-old daughter. Got him out, but could not find the girl. She's in a cabinet and was... I can't...
Not so easy to find. It was too late. It was a TV stand cabinet. Children hide.
Children do hide.
Heather Russo said, my next door neighbor lost her house last year to a dryer fire. It was an 1800s house.
Yeah. especially if you have children or mentally handicapped people that you love in your home, you, as adults, we have to practice. As adults, we practice. We have plans. But you really, really, with children, have to practice and practice and practice. And talk to them. Don't scare them. Talk to them. Explain to them. Let them understand why you're doing the things that you're doing, and that this is meant to help them. And I'm going to tell you that we can't prevent all tragedies, but we certainly can cut down on them.
Dragon Stalin said, "Do not go back into the house that's on fire to save your pets." It's one of the major cases of people being killed by a fire.
Yes.
And Kitty said, if you can't grab them, the animals leave the doors open and they will find it.
Exactly. Because animals instinctively know to belly crawl. We don't. That's another thing. Talk to your children about belly crawling. Smoke rises. Fresh air is down on the bottom. Belly crawl. Teach them how to do that.
Yep. And heat rises, smoke rises. If there's any chance of getting a breath, it's on the ground floor or on the ground by the floor. When I worked at the Pentagon, there was a fire in an enclosed area. Now, it was probably, I'd say, 2,000, 3,000 square
I'm going to
foot.
tilt a little bit so you can see.
I will lean in something.
Okay.
When they got the fire out, I had to go in and help figure out where the classified phones and such were. And my boss came with me, and she was absolutely amazed because, you know, the metal fluorescent fixtures, the plastic covers over the fluorescent lights were melted and dripping down like stalactites. And there was like a grid pattern where the metal inside was. It got hotter and melted it and dripped down. And she said, "Wow, that's really neat." I said, "That means if you stood up and took a deep breath, you're dead on the spot. If it's hot enough up there to melt plastic, it will sear your lungs one breath. Down low, crawl fast." Get underground and see what your small child sees. Make mental notes on that.
Oh, well, when we baby-proofed our house, that's exactly what we did. We crawled around on the floor, and we belly crawled because, let's face it, us on our hands and knees are much higher than children. That's more like where they're walking.
Yeah, but get down and look and see what's there. We always say kids' jobs have only one job in the world, and that's to find the most imaginative and creative way to kill themselves at any moment the second you look the other direction. If you approach raising children with that in mind, you'll probably be okay. Because it just takes a split second for them to do something. Okay, you gotta stop
bobbing so much. I can't hold this still enough. But anyway, I have got to go check on my canners. And I just wanted to tell you all that we are not going to be on this evening because I am going to go hold my children and my grandchildren. And I am going to say a prayer of thanks as soon as this is over. I've already said about 15, but I'm going to say another one, that they are all safe and nothing major happened. So you all know that I always say, have a safe and blessed day and share your knowledge. But today I'm going to end with, thank you, God, for keeping my family safe, because they're the world to me. Bye.